Yes. Oh, wait, whoa. Perhaps you think this chair could get between me and a good time. Methinks not. Better to view it as a challenge of how to get out there and get among them with a twist of flair. Take the alley loop in Crested Butte. The alley loop has a course that's set anywhere between 1 and 42K. And it also should be noted that the alley loop gives the fine people of Crested Butte yet another reason to don a costume. And if they can't find a costume, no one's ever accused Abushin of being afraid of a little nudity. So there's always that option. Our question was, how do we get a person who's not walking to compete in a Nordic race? Well, that's easy. You just channel your inner Dr. Seuss. And you ask, what would Dr. Seuss do? Well, obviously, he'd have fairies, lots of fairies. They'd be strong and ready to work. Then he'd hook the non-walking person up to the fairies on a sled, and he'd just ferry him through the race. We did just that. Never ask your inner Dr. Seuss for guidance if you do not intend to take it. Very important. My winter chariot is the Spark. The Spark is a Norwegian form of transportation. It is powered and controlled by the person in back. This person puts one foot on the metal runner, one foot on the ground, and kicks. Hence the name Spark, which means kick in Norwegian. There's one hard and fast rule. You can only go on hard-packed. If this rule is overlooked for even a moment, the Spark has no qualms about ejecting you from the sled. As I view myself to be precious cargo, I clearly did not want this to happen. Enter duct tape. We just went ahead and affixed some skis to the bottom of those runners. Solved the problem. Well, solved is a strong word, but it did the job. When we hooked up the super James Bond intricate rope system to the front of the sled, no one could have foreseen what quickly became abundant, obvious to all of us. I'll refer to it as the fairy pile-up. We had 8 fairies hooked to the front of the sled and 1 driver. Think Santa and his reindeer. We all thought it was genius, when in fact it was loaded with folly. See, when one fairy took a digger, and diggers they did take, the fairy in front of them didn't know, and so they just kept pulling, which resulted in unstoppable inertia, one fairy after the other. And it came out to, my slides just went off in case you guys wonder what just happened to me. It was horrifying. Anyway, 1 hour, 58 minutes later, we finished the race. Record settings, how I like to do. The Spark is my winter ride, but my summer ride is my scooter. No, I'm not referring to the little jazzy that goes beep, beep, beep when you put it in reverse. I'm talking about the super sexy, sleek Vespa. All right. Okay, well, that's a lie. I wanted the Vespa. I really, really did. But when I went on the interwebs, I discovered I can't afford a Vespa. However, there's a sweet knockoff from China with no name. Fit my budget just fine. Now, I'll go ahead and state the obvious. I can't really ride a scooter. And I knew this. Powerful minds came together on this one. I had a blacksmith at the ready, a team on design, some people on function, and together, my people turned my cheesy, no-name scooter into my sweet, badass Yeti with wheelie bars. The plebes of the world like to call my wheelie bars training wheels. They're wheelie bars. If you're ever wanting of attention, you may borrow my Yeti. Trust me, it does the job. Never will you turn more heads. There is one caveat. The Yeti can't really leave Crested Butte. Well, aside from the fact that you'd probably get killed or arrested, the Yeti's no speed demon. In fact, when she gets up to about 25 miles per hour, I'm relatively certain the engine is going to combust. But when you bring her down to 15, she purrs like a kitten. So tonight I've introduced you to my winter ride and my summer ride. Both are coveted by all children. a point of quandary for adults, and nothing but a good time for me.